can have whatever, opinions they want. And that's what's amazing about this. When you look at this guy, how many millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars he's given, tens of millions of kids that see him, that are inspired by him. It's kind of like the Black Panther movie. It's how cool is that for kids to see that and have that superhero? Well, now LeBron's been that for a long time. And for somebody to be totally numb to that and attack him in such a childish way really speaks more volumes about that individual than it does LeBron. He's very, very special. We should all be very proud that we have somebody like that who's willing to speak about a variety of topics, and you've listened to them all.
Shannon, what's your reaction?
I'm not surprised, and Gregg Popovich is absolutely right. Skip Bayless, you're a White Panther. I'm Killmonger, and every day I come to take my throne.
Wow.
Maybe you'll need.
Killmonger doesn't win in the end, right?
Yeah, but I'll be trying. I come to get. He had some help.
Yeah.
It wasn't because of him. It wasn't because of old Panther. He took Panther down. Skip, LeBron James is one of the greatest examples of what this country is supposed to be about. You talk about a guy that grew up in the inner city to a single parent who was a teenager when she gave birth to him herself. And with no really dominant male figure around, he didn't go to college. He's learning how to be a man on the fly. No on-the-job training, no father to sit down or no uncle to sit down and say, son, this is the way you do it. So he leaves that environment. He makes good on what he wanted to become, which was a professional basketball player, and he goes back into the community in which he came, and he's trying to bring thousands and thousands of other kids not to play professional basketball. He says because they don't need another LeBron James, but we need more lawyers, more doctors, more teachers, more firemen, policemen. That's what it's about, Skip. The man, and Michelle Campbell, who's the executive director of his foundation, said without LeBron James outside of basketball, I'm going to tell you there'll be like 1,200 kids that will get left behind, that were behind in their grades. But because of LeBron James, they're moving ahead. He's taking money through his foundation. 1,100 college kids that took the pledge, I promise, is going to be able to go to college at no expense of their own. This fall, I promise his public school is going to open its doors. You Skip, and the thing is, we were talking about it today. I think he has a chance to do what Muhammad Ali did. Now, granted, Muhammad Ali was on a different sort of circumstances. He lost 3 prime years of his fighting career. LeBron James is going to lose none of that.
Yeah.
But Muhammad Ali opened America's eyes.
He did.
To a lot of the injustices that were going on. And he was saying, right here, you want me to go fight abroad for something when I can fight for something right here that's equally as important to me. And LeBron James, like, I get that I'm a basketball player. I get that I make millions and millions upon millions. But that doesn't negate the fact of what I see happening in the very country that I love, and that's given me so much that I see wrong that I got to keep my mouth shut. For so long, there have been a lot of prominent athletes. It was more important to them to build their brand, to sell certain things, as opposed to highlight some of the injustices that they see. And they saw them as plain as day. LeBron James, he doesn't let a whole lot go unnoticed. Started with the Trayvon Martin, with him wearing the hoodie, and it's coming. The I Can't Breathe T-shirts, and with everything that he sees something that he feels that his voice must be heard or need to be heard, LeBron James is going to speak out. And I'm sure there have been times that some people in his camp like, Bron, don't touch that, bro. Like, nope. I can't lay my head on my pillow at night. And I think a lot of it has to do because he has 2 sons. And a lot of what's going on right now in America affect young black men. And LeBron says, I got 2 young black men. And I never want to have that call come to me. So Gregg Popovich is absolutely right. It's great to see your hero. It'd been, I mean, I would have loved to have somebody that grew up, that came before my brother and I and went to college and played pro sport, but that's not how it was. But I did have a dominant male figure. My grandfather, my uncles were around, and then my brother took the role once my grandfather passed. But it's nice to see that, you know what, Skip? They're black superheroes, old Black Panther. I mean, for the longest time, you know, we could be a sidekick. We couldn't be a lead dog. Now we got Black Panther. And our Black Panther, as far as getting this movement in sports figures is that guy out of Akron, Ohio, playing for the Cavaliers.
So, to start off with, I've been saying on national TV for at least 5 years that LeBron James is having even more impact off the court than he's having on it. And
Absolutely.
that's not to diminish in any way, shape, or form the impact he's having on the basketball court.
Correct.
I didn't need Gregg Popovich to tell me that. LeBron is very, very special off the court. Well, I'm just talking off the court in impact. It's real. It's tangible. The number you used is tangible. And I think he's only just begun. I think this is going to be a lifelong pursuit of his.
I do too.
And I actually can't wait to see what he does when he does retire from basketball. The sky is the limit. He could be effectively Black Panther.
Yes.
And it is really great. I got to see it Friday. So
T'Challa.
did you see it Friday? Or?
Yeah, I saw T'Challa. I'm Killmonger.
But I love the end of it. You know, you got one of those?
Nope.
I thought I saw something glow.
I don't think you can sit through that.
That
I
vibranium.
saw something glow.
You might need to get some of that for Kawhi Quad. You know, they hear that vibranium.
Take him into Wakanda.
Yeah.
But what happened in the very end of Black Panther when he goes before the United Nations? What was he bringing to the world? The wisdom of Wakanda, right? The brains, the genius, right? That's okay. So that I love that message.
Right.
That the Black community has something to bring that can save the world beyond revolution, right? Which was Killmonger.
And the thing is, Skip, if you look at it, and not to say like, you know, Muhammad Ali and Kareem, there have been a lot of guys, but they didn't, with social media now and the outreach and the tentacles that LeBron has to reach way beyond, because Kareem has been doing this for the longest time. There have been a lot of prominent Black athletes, Skip, but they didn't have the reach of LeBron because now social media, there's not a place that he can't go where they don't know who he is. And for him to be so great in his community, we're never, ever, and politics, Skip, politics and sports have always been intertwined, especially when you're dealing with the Black athlete. It goes back to Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson was the Black athlete that was prominent, that was in your face and boastful, that they tried to silence. And it's been going, and it's come full circle. So to say, oh, I don't want sports and politics, it's always been that. And LeBron James, Skip, what's not to like? I get, you know, okay, he's a baby. Okay, he's 3 and 5 in finals. Okay, that aside.
But we're not talking about that.
Take that aside, Skip. Off the court. The man takes his money and put it where his mouth was. And he's opening a public school. I promise. Do you know what that means to a whole generation of blacks?
I got it. Well,
right? And I'm sure it's not only blacks, but in our community, we ask a lot more about superstars and our heroes than in other communities.
Yep.
And for LeBron to give back, Kevin Durant just made a pledge of $10 million to D.C., where he grew up.
He did.
You're starting to see more athletes now become more and more heavily involved.
Yep.
In the outreach of growing their communities, because they say, well, hey, you talking about it, are you going to be about it? We see a lot of these prominent figures, be it basketball, be it football, and I'm sure in other sports, go back in, lift up so others can get out.
So, given all that, is it a good thing that a white man, in this case a prominent NBA coach, spoke out in favor of LeBron speaking out? I guess so.
Yes.
As you know, I'm a Spurs fan. I'm not the biggest Popovich fan because I don't like his behavior with the media, and it offends me more and more almost by the night. And so I have some suspicion of why he's boosting LeBron. Obviously, if you go deep down, he would love for LeBron to come to San Antonio next year and finish it out with.
But he's always spoke glowingly about LeBron.
I got that. But my issue with Popovich, and the reason I disqualify all this, obviously he and LeBron share the same view of our current president.
Yes.
But what bothers me the most about Popovich is that if he wants to use the media, as he did yesterday to make this statement, he's going to use the media.
And he was very nice to him, huh?
In general, he has one thing and only one thing in common with our current president. he bullies the media just the way President Trump bullies the media or uses the media when it serves his purpose, right?
Yes.
And in this case, how many times have we seen him? He was in a good mood yesterday. This is pregame when he was talking about that, and he said the lowly media. But usually, if you saw his postgame last night, they won the game. They had one of their, you could argue, their nicest wins of the year. And he treated the media questions with condescending disdain that was just deplorable to me. It was disgusting to even watch it. Now, again, I've been in that role, and I've been asking those questions, but they are legitimate, fairly innocent basketball questions, and he can't treat that reporter with any respect whatsoever. I don't get that. And how many between quarters interviews do we see him just dismiss the question and walk away? I don't know. And that's lovable curmudgeon that is Coach Popovich, right?
I think the thing is, Skip, why it means so much to have, because Joe and I having a conversation between two blacks, that doesn't do anything. We need the other side. So for a black coach to say, Doc Rivers to say that, it's not going to carry. It's just like Black Panther. And I've talked to a lot of blacks, but let's be real. There ain't enough blacks to make that movie what it is. There's more whites going to see that movie. That's why it's at 700 million in 2 weeks. So that's what we need to have the conversation to shift. So get the white counterpart to have this conversation with us to start this process of, okay, now we can have this conversation on race. Now we can get this, get to the crux of some of these issues and how we're going to deal with them.
Yeah. Well, sports is a microcosm of society. Whenever we talk about things that happen that are negative, you know, guys getting arrested or domestic violence or something like that, it's not because it's exclusive to sports. It's because sports is a microcosm of society. Everything that happens in the world also affects sports because they're human beings and those circumstances affect them as well. But to me, to diminish everything that LeBron's done, he may be the all-around greatest superstar off the court that we've ever seen. And that's just, he hasn't even retired yet. He hasn't even had the ability to apply himself completely to it. I think when you look back, we talk about with Colin Kaepernick this all the time, history's going to look back more favorably on him than he is now. You know that with Muhammad Ali. Everybody didn't like Muhammad Ali.
No.
Look at Jackie Robinson. I mean, he never even really gets brought up when we talk about things like this. Roberto Clemente. These are guys that were very active in the community and made lasting impact in the whole world, not just in sports. So to diminish what LeBron's done, to me, when you look at the numbers and the people that he's affected, is really to diminish the kids that he's impacted. Is it time for college athletes to be paid? We'll discuss that with Eric Dickerson.